Every athlete has their best season. Sometimes we don't notice it at the time, and it takes a while to understand that was their peak. There's other seasons, though, that are so obviously a legendary run of success that no one can ignore. That was the case for Philippe Gilbert's 2011 season, a record-breaking year where he could win seemingly on demand. Gilbert has been a rising star for years now. In 2009, with top 5 finishes at the Tour of Flanders, Amstel Gold, and Liège-Bastogne-Liège, as well as a Giro d'Italia stage win, he was named the best Belgian rider of the year. In 2010, he was even more successful, winning Amstel Gold and 2 stages of the Vuelta. He capped off the season, taking his first monument win at the end of the year at the Giro de Lombardia during a brutal day on the bike. 2011 was also a contract year for Gilbert, so there's an added layer of motivation to earn a big payday on his next offer from what is sure to be a ton of interested teams. The year started off well with a stage win at the Volta Algarve, and then a win at Strade Bianche. At the time, it wasn't as prestigious as it is these days, but a win on a course profile like this signals one thing: Gilbert is on track to succeed. He then took home a stage win at Tirreno Adriatico, another key race for checking form, especially as it comes right before the first monument of the year, Milan-San Remo. He was animated at San Remo, attacking on the approach to the finish, and in the final small group, he finished 3rd, landing on the podium. At the next monument, the Tour of Flanders, he would take 9th, finishing in the 2nd group on the road. This was just a prelude, because we're about to enter Gilbert's territory, the Ardennes. First on the docket was the 51st edition of the Brans Peel, a hilly Belgian classic. With 14 kilometers to go, Bjorn Luckmans attacks, and Gilbert follows easily. For the rest of the race, it's the two of them working together on narrow Belgian roads, even laughing at one point. And it's a moment of levity, a reminder that this can be fun. But the last kilometer is all business. A side-by-side into the final stretch, and the national compatriots duel. But it's Gilbert who comes out on top. He's clearly on top form, and in just 4 days at Amstel Gold, he'll have to prove it against a tougher field. 261 kilometers, numerous hills, a finish at the top of the Kalberg, and a start list full of heavy hitters: Joaquin Rodriguez, Simon Gerrans, Andy Schleck, and of course, the defending champion, Gilbert himself. With 13 kilometers to go, the race reaches the steepest climb of the day, with a max gradient of 22%. This is a launch pad for Rodriguez, who attacks, putting Gilbert's Omega Pharma team on the defense. Jo van den Dert is doing the brunt of the work, Gilbert in his wheel. Prominent in this group, and currently getting a free ride, is the Rabobank team. They have 2 heavy hitters, Oscar Freire and Robert Gesink, both possible winners. Rodriguez's attack has come to an end as the race reaches the top of the climb, which means it's time for Andy Schleck to attack. The 2-time Tour de France podium finisher is on a new team this year, and he's flying Leopard Trek's colors at the front, opening up a gap on these tight roads. 1 kilometer to go, and Schleck is still leading. Omega Pharma is still chasing, and they're about to make their way up the Kalberg and its 12% maximum gradient. It isn't the hardest climb of the day, but it is after 260 kilometers. The road is absolutely packed to the brims with fans, as if every single Dutch citizen has turned up to watch the finale. Schleck takes the right turn out of town center and onto the Kalberg. He is one of, if not the, best mountain climber in the world, and he might have banked just enough time to pull off the win. But that time is only 6 seconds, and the pack is approaching fast. All it'll take is one person to jump out of that group, and Schleck's bid will end. It's Rodriguez again, chomping at the bit, with Gerrans in third wheel. They're immediately past Schleck, and Rodriguez and Gilbert are battling amongst themselves until Gilbert attacks, opening up the gap. A turn of pace and an increase in power that simply can't be matched. He wins Amstel Gold for the second year in a row, and now he has a chance to win all 3 Ardennes Classics in the year, since in just 3 days, it's Flèche Wallonne. Flèche Wallonne is both a race of attrition and a race where only the final moments make the difference, because the finish is at the very top of the infamous Mur de Huy, a 128-meter tall hill with a gradient that maxes out at 26%. Because of this, we can jump all the way ahead to the closing kilometer, where all that's left is the Mur. With a scant lead of 12 seconds, Jerome Pinot and Marco Mercado are trying to prolong the inevitable catch, while behind, the peloton is full of people who think today is their day. Some delusional, some realistic. Halfway up the climb, the catch is made. We can see Gilbert near the front, Rodriguez shadowing him, and the figure of Alberto Contador behind them. Gilbert takes control of the race, not attacking, just going tempo, leading from the front, almost daring someone to take the position from him. He attacks. Not a single person can follow. The gap grows and grows, and Gilbert crosses the line in one of the most dominant Flèche Wallonne wins of all time. 2 down, 1 to go. 255 kilometers left in the Ardennes Classic season. 255 kilometers where at the end, Gilbert could become a legend. The day up to this point has been a show of Omega Pharma and Leopard Trek battling for control. With 21 kilometers to go, it's time for the show to start. Both Andy and Frank Schleck attack together, brothers in arms and blood, and Gilbert follows them immediately. The trio catch Greg van Avermaet, who's the remnant of an earlier breakaway, and the 4 increase their lead. With 6 kilometers to go, Gilbert accelerates at the base of the climb, shedding van Avermaet, and as he continues up the climb, Gilbert drops Andy Schleck, who has to battle back on once the road flattens out. The trio continue to work together, and before we know it, we're hitting the final left-hander to the finishing straightaway. It's Andy leading into the corner, and as he swings off the front, Gilbert opens up the sprint. Another attack, like we've seen at the last 3 races in a row. Explosive, and he's able to hold the Schlecks at bay all the way to the line, dispatching the brothers and becoming the second man in history to win all 3 Ardennes Classics in the same season. But the season isn't over yet. If you ask Gilbert to design a stage of the Tour de France specifically for him to win on, it would be stage 1 of the 2011 Tour de France, with a steep final short climb to the finish line. This would provide the new Belgian national champion a chance to win the stage and take the yellow jersey for at least 1 day. The whole day is spent with Omega Pharma on the front, working for one goal: deliver Gilbert to the final kilometer and let him work. And at the final kilometer, Gilbert is in second, prime position to control and view the final moments of the stage. There's an attack on the left side of the road. Alexander Vinokurov and Thomas Voeckler are the aggressors here. Gilbert is on them instantly, as is the rest of the field. Gilbert stays in third, out of the saddle, ready to pounce, as he does going after Fabian Cancellara, who's attacked. The helicopter shot shows just how fast Gilbert is, how quickly he closes the gap on Cancellara, and how he attacks again. And for the fourth time this year, we see him just ride away from everyone. He storms to yet another iconic win, a yellow jersey, and he has now won a stage at every Grand Tour, yet another historic moment. He'd go on to win the San Sebastian Classic, the GP Quebec, for a total of 18 wins on the year, the best rider of the season, and one of the greatest seasons of all time. But his career was far from its final peak. But that's a story for another day.